Test. Ooh, just make sure. And there we are. We're live. Ooh, man, it's been a whole week since we last saw each other, and that's it. We're back here with Assembly, the weekly session where we together put together a microbot that wins. I'm Drekken, you're here, and we're gonna get this started today. Bit of the ground rules, what it is, what are we doing here, why are we here? It's because we're doing some pair programming, or rather a riff on that called mob programming, where together we work together on the same IDE to build a project. Now, today is a special day. And you're like, well, why is it a special day? For me, it's because that day is the day that we finally get to move this bot forward. I think we will be able to upload it today. If you remember, our bot has been broken for, I would say, a good part of a month and a half, especially when it came to the melee part of it. And thanks to a viewer, I think we finally have a fix. So this is a very exciting time. But before we get into that, let's get into the ground rules. So mob programming and how it works, similar to pair programming, we got a driver and navigator, and then the mob, the driver, implements the code, focuses on the detail, navigator keeps their eye on the big picture of what it is we are doing. What is it we're working on? And they guide it. Then the mob, that's you guys here at home, you review and make suggestions and keep us honest with our code. So one of the core things that you'll see is that you might catch bugs, or you might catch, most likely, naming conventions. That's where we kind of screw up a lot, is the naming conventions, as you will definitely see. Benefits: shared code ownership. It's not yours, it's not mine, it's ours. A little bit breakdown of the hierarchy of trying to explain the code, and there's a bit of mentorship that goes on. And then the other one here, which I'm going to actually put in here, is co-authoring. I'm going to actually add co-authoring. So another benefit is, like, you don't have to start your own bot project yourself. You can just jump in and then work on it and get some credit on there. You know, I'll actually have an author TXT that can have you if you are part of either the pilot or the co-pilot, and you can actually get a chance to start digging into code right away without having to get everything started yourself, and you just can play around and experiment. So co-authoring, I'm gonna put as a benefit of mob programming, specifically when it comes to making a bot, and I find that to be pretty useful. How do you join? Well. If you want to do this, you just gotta hit !join. Oh, and I didn't hit that properly. !join, and then follow the link. Become a member. Join up on our monthly members. We have this, then we have other programs here to help you build a bot that wins, but also makes it really good in your portfolio. So build a bot. You can do it on your own, but you can do it together with us by becoming a part of the membership. Do so, and we will have a good time together. Okay. And then the project we're working on is our microbot, our Protoss microbot. And this is AnglerBot, whose core strategy is a lure strategy, kind of like the anglerfish, hence the name AnglerBot. You know, it uses the unit to pull the enemy where it wants to fight, and then essentially engages in battles that are best for it. So it gets to choose battles that are most advantageous for it, and then returns back to a defensive position if the pylon is in danger. So hopefully you can read that. Make sure that so where we were last time, fix the unit, not attack us out of range. This is something that we had to work on. And then in the long roadmap, we got to react to the map, so it's map specific. And if the enemy is defensive stats, protect our pylon. And then a couple other things like return if the scout dies, assign a new one, and reacting from the scout. So whatever it sees, take some sort of decision based on what it sees. Now, micromaps are small and short. It's really a good question whether or not there is enough time to react to what it sees. This actually may end up becoming obsolete because there really isn't a lot of time to interact and engage with an enemy, I think, when it comes to these micromaps. But I think I will continue to keep the strategy because I believe in the idea that scouting, or at least in my mind, it was that the bot would find a position that's advantageous, and then it would defend that. It would make a decision based on that. I still think that's very sound, a very sound principle. But the more that we do this, the more I look at it, I'm like, okay, well, maybe this bot won't have enough time to, like, for example, if it sees something, will it move? If it moves from that position, that may not be advantageous for it. But then there's also scenarios of bots that are defensive, right? Maybe there are bots that are defensive, and then it has to make a decision from there. So that might be something worth considering. Either which way, we can just dive right into it. There's no really reason to stop. Yeah, let's jump into it. Because let's get our coding music in. Normally, when we start these things, we like to start with a recap of... You know what? Actually, we will start with that, because normally I would like us to start with a recap of how it's doing on the ladder. But since this bot's not on the ladder, we will just jump into it. But we should actually see how... Let's do a run, make sure our code is working first. Find where we start, because we want to, want to make sure we're working from code that works. And then we're going to just get a lay of the land, and then just jump right into coding once we run our first game. Okay, so while that loads up, how are you all? How are you people out? All you people doing? Let me know how you're doing out there. Give me a shout. Let's get some music going, because I think it's time to bring the music back. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of coding music. So if you're coding alongside me, or if you're doing your own coding when you're watching this or whatever, and we're just doing this together. I mean, what is your... I want to say the question of the day is like, what's your least favorite part of coding? Like, what's your least favorite part? I'm curious. Tell me. Okay, here's our bot. It's going. All right, look at that. So good, so good, so good. Look at that. Oh, and then it wins. All right. So we got code that works. Good place. Okay, let's get started then. Okay, first step. First step is this code here that was suggested to us. Or, sorry, it's not really full code. It's a little bit of a mishap on my part. Oh, let's turn this music down just a little bit. A little bit mishap on my part that the code, sorry, I was just adjusting the music. So I have here, as you can see, group maneuver, but I declared it here melee maneuver. And this little code here has been causing us a bit of problems for a good part of a month and a half, I would say, maybe 2 months, because it's not named properly. So we're gonna fix this right off the bat. Wow, it even knew. That's cute. So if all goes well, now we should be registering the melee maneuver. Problem we were having is that the melee bot units were not responding to the code. They weren't moving. They were just sitting on the top of the ramp. That was not the right course of action. So let's see now what happens. This could actually make a huge difference for the bot. This could be a huge difference. But let's see. It could just be broken. We can get in here and it's just as bad as it was before. This is the wrong window. But you know what? Oh. All right. So I'm actually going to commit to saying that I think... actually, I don't know if... Are we ready to go on the ladder with this? That could be that could be a good place to start. So I might be willing to say that we should put this on the ladder and then keep each week improving it, and then we'll have like data and feedback on how it works. But for now, let's run that again. That was against Terran, which our bot has historically had a bad problem against Terran. Let's see how this one looks. Let's watch how its behavior. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Uh-oh. 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 Beautiful. There we go. That's made a huge difference. It's made a huge difference. Now what we're gonna start seeing is our bots are probably gonna beat the computer every time. To make a big difference. We'll do one more. So that was Terran, that was Zerg. Hopefully we'll get a Protoss this time. Hopefully we'll get a Protoss. Let's see. Another Terran. Okay. Good, good, good. Good, good. Perfect. Okay. Bot's winning every time now. Perfect. Okay. That's good. Gucci. We can call that done. That is officially finished. We're on a roll when we just started today. Holy crap. All right. So that's fixed. Done. 100% finished. How are we looking at what's our goals? React to the map scouting and react from scouting. React to the map and then react from scout. So I want to say we're going to be working on the defense of the pylon. Go back to defending the pylon code. I'm going to commit that because that's like that's a good commit right there. I can call that, what did we do? Where are we now? So let's say we fixed. So now melee units. So fixed melee units. Let's say, what did we actually do? Sorry. Let's say fixed melee units register behavior to work with target unit position. We'll then commit that. We'll add that. Perfect. It's in. All right. Okay, so that's done. I'm gonna clean up my code. I like clean code. I'm gonna clean up some of these extra. Oh, are we no longer using? Oh, okay, hold on. Are we no longer using? Okay. I mean, I guess it's really okay not to use a universal target unit. Because I have that their range is using a different target unit than the melee. I think that's okay. Because I'm just using close ground enemy. Okay, let's bring that back for a sec. I mean, there isn't really a big difference here, because what if I did this? What if I brought this back? Because we took this out because I was testing. So what if we brought this back, and then we're like, okay, so now we have a target unit, and then we say we can actually comment this out, and then we can comment this out. I'd actually, yeah, I'll actually say that. Let's comment that out, and then we'll say, let's make sure this still works. It's like still wanted to make those similar. I kind of want them to have a similar target decision. I didn't want them to necessarily have separate. We could separate it, but I don't necessarily think that would be. Like, do we want the melee to have their own separate target? I guess technically melee having their own separate target would be allow us a little bit more flexibility. Yeah, maybe. Because if they have the same target. Okay, let's let them have their separate targets, because it might give us more flexibility later. So yeah, let's let them have their own separate targets for now. We'll keep this in here, and if we find that it's not efficient to have separate targets, we'll bring them back to a single target unit. I cannot imagine having single targets, a single target will be more efficient and flexible than a separate. Okay, let's start cleaning up some of this extra code here. We don't need this code. We no longer need to assign stalkers to their own. Get rid of that. And then we can start digging into the pylon defense. I think we should be good to do that now. We can start digging into pylon defense. Yeah, this rest of this code is starting to look pretty much okay. So what were we doing here? Okay, as it comes across. So let's jump down to pylon defense. Pylon defense. So pylon defense, if proximity ground enemy. So we say if there's a proximity ground enemy. So if there is a ground enemy, get unit in range. Okay. And so we checked if there was an enemy in range. That's what we did. Okay, that's good. And then if it's in range, we set defense mode to true, and then defense mode to false. And we use a distance of 8. So if something's coming close to it, there's a distance of 8. I believe I've set that to true. And then if the self-defense mode is true, what happens? Is there a gated statement somewhere? Did I do that yet? So here we go. So there's a defense. That's not that. So let's say, do I not have a... So check defense position. So if self arrive, that's not right. Okay, that's something else. So I don't think I put any behavior for if we have a defense position activated. Is that correct? Yeah, so look at that. So we go if self pylon, so long as the pylon exists, checks if it, and then we send to defense mode. And I have nothing to do if there's defense mode. So let's start there. We'll create, like, say, okay. Oh, what happened there? Let's try this again. And say, we'll say pylon defense. And then we'll say if self-defense mode. So if we're in self-defense mode, so that means it's been turned on. Actually, before we do that, let's create the method. Actually, let's see, what do we want to do? Because we want them to do what? Go back to the location of the pylon. We don't want them to attack the pylon. That would be dangerous. We'd want to go to the, we want to set, I'd like to say maybe, no, we don't want to move target because then our units get destroyed. I just say maybe attack in the direction. Attack in the direction of the pylon. So let's say, what is, let's say, so if we're saying, okay, control attackers. So let's say we're controlling attackers. Right now there should be a universal. So you set its target position, and it gets its target position from passing it into this. Yeah, so we pass target in, and that decides where its target is. So that is, let's see where we're calling control attackers. Okay. Control attackers is being run all the time. So maybe if we just gated control, so on step, control scout. So what we should say is maybe, what's this? If self-defense mode. Oh, we do have something. Here we go. If self-defense mode. So if self-defense mode is turned on, the current target is pylon's position. I hope this doesn't cause it to attack that pylon. Then, unless, so if it's not self-defense mode, if self-defense mode is turned off, hold on, what's going on here? this current part. Okay, so we're saying here, current target is self-defense position. If the you know, I have to be mindful here, because if every time we change step here, because if we change step, yeah, we have to put this inside the logic, because every time we come on step, it'll change it to defense position and it'll cause it to bounce around. So we should say else it's this. Yeah, so we should say if defense mode is activated. So if we have defense mode, the current target is the pylon's position. Else, so let's say if this is false. If this is false, then, and the enemy is, there's no, let's say the enemy, there's no enemy left, and combat has started, and we're doing a full attack. That attack position now is the start location of the enemy. This is what we want. And if all those, if none of those are true, then the current target is the defense position. Seems straightforward enough. That actually should be enough. And then we're passing current target in whenever every step we're calling control attackers, and we're passing the control target. And then we just change what that current target is based on these conditions. So defend the pylon if we're under attack, no enemies around, start location. We'll call this actually control of the current target. So this is our current target control center. This scout actually we need to rethink of how this scout is. Its current target should be something different, but we'll worry about that in a second. So we are passing the target into it, and oh, I see, we're changing it. So we're like, if not enemy, if there's no enemy. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Perfect. Okay, so this I think is pretty good. I could say that I feel like we have it now that we can defend. So yeah, we do have it that it reacts to the enemy. Do I have that on my? So yeah, we react from the enemy's proximity. So let's actually take a look at my goals. If the enemy is in defensive attack. So if enemy is in defensive stance, attack pylon to pull them. Okay, now we're getting a little interesting here. If the scout dies, assign a new one. So if the enemy is in defensive stance, this means if the enemy is, okay, let's actually commit this. So we say fixed logic for current target. We'll commit that. And then we'll, let's make sure it still works. Probably should have done that before I committed in hindsight, but I feel fairly confident that should be that clause should still operate without problems. But I've learned something in programming that you can never guarantee anything until you run it. So let's find out. Where are we? Is that us? That doesn't look like our bot. Oh, did we win? It's hard to tell. It looks like we won. Yeah, we did. What's this found target print statement? What was this? What was it? What was I printing here? Found target. Oh, this was a test. Yeah, so we don't need this anymore. Oh, what did we do? What happened? Yeah, we don't really need this anymore because this was to test. There was a enemy unit. So we can get rid of that. Because now we know that it can find a target unit. So we don't need that print statement anymore. All right. All right, so let's call that what it is. And so now we have to react if the enemy is so if the enemy is not. So what we need to do is that the scout will go and look, and if there's no enemy, what should we do? If the enemy is in a defensive attack position, so if the enemy is a defensive stance, attack the pylon to pull them. So this will be as if the enemy is not around. So if the enemy is, this is if there's an enemy and they're not attacking us. So they're trying to bait us. We will take a difference. We'll become aggressive. So we'll switch to more of an aggressive mode. If the enemy, for example, is trying to make us walk into a trap for them. How should we do this though? What might be the best way to accomplish this? This might require a little bit of thought. So right now we have it so like if the enemy if our bot runs into no enemy. Let's go from the scout. Let's work from scout. So we say, look, all right, scout goes, he goes and says there's no enemy. He's going to the the center. So if there is an enemy though, he's set to switch roles and goes back to attacking. So this logic might actually give us some problems. What might be a good way to approach this? Because right now we need to think about, what's this? What happened here? Did we get an update from Ares while we were away? Perhaps we'll look into it a little bit later. I don't want to screw around with Ares right this moment. So let's say, what's the best way to solve this problem? Because we need it so that maybe we can map this out. Let's maybe map this out. Let's maybe write it out instead. So let's say what we need. What's our end goal here? So end goal is luring the enemy when he's in defense. How can we do this goal? We can send the whole army. We can send one unit. So we could send one unit. What's another way? So that's really that, or we can send some units. So we can, those are our ways to engage. We can send the whole army, we can send one unit, or we can send some units, some being X amount of units. So we can break into a squad. That could be useful later, but not. What's the behavior we want from our enemy? We want our enemy to move into. We want our enemy to go into a bad situation. Well, that's what we really want. So essentially, we want them to stay on the low ground. Because we want our enemy to go into the low ground. We want our enemy to engage us. We want our enemy to engage us in the worst possible position for them. So enemy to move away from a good situation to a bad situation. So that's what we want. We want our enemy to go We want our enemy to go in a situation that's bad for them, but good for us. So what's a good way to do this? Because right now our bot's in a defensive position. We can make it move to an aggressive position. So move to an aggressive position. So if they're in a defense, we could actually move to the side that's actually better for them. So if we're talking, oh, I wish I had a picture of this map because that would really help. Maybe, you know what? Let's pull up a replay and we'll analyze the replay because that will help visualize what we're looking at. I don't want to update. Oh God. Okay. Let's update while it's doing that. Okay, so we want to move. So we'll move to an aggressive position. So we'll document what's called an aggressive position. So how? Let's go how. So if the enemy's in a defensive position, we'll move to an aggressive. How? So if defensive, move to aggression position. Then what? What do we want to do once we've moved to an aggressive position? Attack? Wait? Maybe wait? Maybe it's enough to just move to an aggressive position. Because if the enemy is in a defensive position and we move to an aggressive position, if enemy has advantage, then we want to like wait. And if we have advantage, then we want to like attack, right? That makes sense. So we're like, okay, if the enemy's in defensive state, we move to an aggressive position. If the enemy has an advantage, we wait. I don't know what we're waiting for, but let's say we'll wait. And if we have an advantage, we should attack. We should send the melee down and attack. It's a little complicated, but I think this is not bad. Not a bad way to go about it. But let's pull up the map so we can see. And then we'll try to code this in. We'll try coding this in. See if I can find that replay. Found it. Perfect. Once this loads up, we'll pop into that replay and then we'll try to code that in. We'll make sure the concept holds true. Now this is this is a key thing to remember. This is actually only bot micro arena. We have to code for the other map before we can go on to the ladder. I just forgot. We have to turn the other map on. Maybe that's what we should do now though. Turn the other map on. Okay. So here's us right now. Here's what we're looking at. So we go up here. Okay, perfect. Can we actually see the vision of our bot? So we're like, okay. We come up here and we're like, all right, we're at the top here. This is actually a really good position for us. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Okay, but let's see from the position of the enemy. How do they take this situation? So what we could say is an aggressive situation would be this location right here. That would be aggressive. So let's do that. So like, look at that. We got a volley off when he couldn't see. It's really good. I don't think a lot of bots though are going to be so simplistically fooled, but look at this. So we're here and we got a volley off right here. This is really good. We got a volley off before they even got anything right here. That's really good. Before they engaged. I wonder if we should pull back. I wonder if we should pull back some of these melee units, you know? If they're hurt. Oh, sight blockers. That's a good one, Matt. That's a good one. We could hit with the sight blockers. I kind of like that. That's a really good one. Like here. It's actually really good. Let's actually toss that in there. I'm gonna actually add this into the ideas. Do I have an idea? If not, I'm adding ideas. Oh, this is to consider. Using sight blockers. Oh, snap. Could you imagine? Using sight blockers with zealots. I like that idea. That's a kind of, I like that. Maybe we will actually do that. Because we could actually, because what we could do is like if we move, I want to make sure we don't do too much like creep, like stand on the bush, right? Like if we move to these sight blockers here, if we like, okay, you know, if there's an enemy, we run into, I guess the weakness is if would Terran units, let's see if we can get an idea of what we see when we go to the sight blockers. So let's, if we can get like a little bit of an idea of how sight blockers are, like what do the bots see when they get to the sight blockers, could be really good. I like that idea a lot. So let's look at some vision here. Nothing. Okay. Shh, crap. I like the idea that, you know, we just run into sight blockers. That would be really good. So we run up there. So these units. Okay, so sight blockers. So we can actually see him, and that's because we have high ground vision. Oh, you know, I actually really like this idea. We could run into the sight blockers. We just need to know what the coordinates of the sight blockers are. I'm guessing this is pretty static. Like, yeah, let's do that, guys. I'm actually gonna change our correction and we're gonna actually work with the sight blockers. I like that idea a lot because then we can really lure the range and we can really be in an advantageous spot. I'm a little worried though, because what would happen is they might bunch up, but perhaps we can fit all 4 units in this sight blocker spot. What do you think? Do you think we put them like, we could probably find a way to get each unit to stand on in like a line in the sight blocker and we kind of get like a weird kind of concave? I think that's practical. Sounds practical. Sounds hard as fuck, but probably very practical. That we get like the coordinates of each sight blocker and we tell each unit to stand pretty much along. Okay. Okay, that could work. So what if we actually tell the melee to go here? Like if we tell the melee to go here or just before the site blocker first, just a little bit before the site blocker. We would then have to be a little concerned that if the units came up the top, if they came up top, we would have to adjust the strategy. This is where we get into a little bit of trouble, because if we sit up here at the site blocker, which is what we want, but the enemy comes from here, we will need to adjust. And what we don't want is us retreating, because then we lose the high ground. Because if we go here, so it's like a 50-50 chance, right? Okay, so I like what Matt's saying. Oh, I need to adjust my thing a little bit. Sorry, Matt, your stuff got cut off on the mob thing. Let me see if I can adjust that. Oh, so I'm gonna have to quickly put a test in there so I know where my test. Sorry, I just gotta edit this so that I have, or maybe it won't edit. Oh, that's why. It's locked. It's good to know that Dyson is here in spirit. I always knew Dyson was here in spirit. All right, perfect. That's a little bit better. Okay. Sorry, now I got your text should be better for me to see. Okay. Okay, so I like this idea. What Matt said. He says, don't go straight into the blocker until you see what see units, and the same until they come. So we have to keep in mind timing. This could be a weird condition, because we would have to say, in this state, we would say, okay, first of all, we have to say if the map is X, Y, and Z. So, well, first thing we'll have to do is we'll have to make sure this is map dependent. So we have actually react to map. We actually have that in here somewhere. Where is it? React to map. React to map. So we have to add this in here. So we're gonna have to make sure everything is map specific when we come to. So we'll have to make sure our adding here. Add map conditions. And then we do have reactor map as one of our goals. So let's say we're here. All right, let's actually do a little bit of a so both units are going up. Our units are, so it looks like here our units are automatically automatically going up here. Everyone except to the scout. The scout is actually going here, as you can see. But then it sees an enemy. So at this point, it sees no enemy. No enemy is seen. But as soon as it spots an enemy, these guys change their decision. So they're like, oh, there is an enemy. I see an enemy. And they're like, okay, let's go attack said enemy. What do we want to do, guys? Should we maybe make it so that it doesn't react to the enemy until he's within a certain range? So let's maybe go back to the other tab and just say, okay, this is actually not. So this is actually our stance, defense stance. I probably should call it advantage stance, but let's call it defense stance. So let's say defense stance. So let's say defense stance, and then like the melee units goes to site blocker. Blocker. Melee goes to site blocker. where does the range go in this instant? So let's say, so the range actually is fine. Sorry, range is, so in this state, so let's say in the state of enemy is on the, in the valley, let's say in valley. So units, enemies in valley. We get the state, we find out the enemy is in the valley. This state is okay. So units go here, and then we want our units to move to this site blocker. So we should say, as long as it's in this state, so enemies are coming through, we'll have to change it, not if enemy, but if enemy is, I'll be honest, I actually don't know how to maybe code positionally. How do we say that if the enemy is, I don't know, in this area? Maybe we'll have to do something to check. So if the enemy is in this area, then we should move, not we should move to these coordinates. So first thing we need to do is find out what the coordinates are of the site blockers. What are the coordinates of the site blockers? Then we need to know is, how do we know if an enemy is in a certain position? This could be probably in Ares. Maybe we can find out if they're on the low ground. There might be something that says if the enemy's on the low ground. So if enemy on low ground. If not, we'll have to create something. Low ground. So I think I saw something in the API. I will have to check. So if enemy's on the low ground. If not, then we'll say if we don't have something that says if enemy's on the low ground, then be like if enemy is in a certain coordinates, in a radius. Sorry, certain radius. A certain radius from map center. Perfect. So we'll like, if we don't have something that lets us see the low ground, we'll then use the map center radius as a kind of like, you know, if an enemy is in this particular area, because the map center is right here. So we'll make like a small radius around here. And we're like, okay, if the enemy is here, you know, if the enemy is here in this section, it would be nice to say if it's like, you know, if we were able to paint an entire square, but you know, this is a cooking show. It is kind of like a cooking show, isn't it? But I think it'll be best to just say if the enemy is in this center, and then I don't know, we'll come up with another coordinate. The one thing we want to be careful is we don't want to, like, we really don't want to get ourselves into this like really odd situation where we cannot get out of, that we just cannot get out of. Like if we hard code something, a situation, and then we don't account for a scenario, we're gonna get our bot like screwed up. So we'll go with this for now. I think if for the sake of time and getting something done today, we will just work on moving the melee down to this section as their primary section. We'll find out where is the site blockers. We'll move to the site blockers, and then we'll add the conditions of the map. So do we actually know what map? Does the bot know what map we're in? Does it say it? Get info local map. So here we go. So we do actually know. So we can say, you know, if the map is X, Y, and Z. Maybe I should save the map. I could just say if map is X, Y, and Z. I'll just put a flag. We'll just put a flag. We'll call it map flag. And then we'll say if the map is X, it is plateau micro. If it is Y, it is, you know, yeah, let's just do that. We'll set a flag and we'll call a map flag, and we'll say self dot map equals none. Oh, hello, dog Tato. Hello, Dog Tato. That's what it will say. Welcome, Dog Tato. Where did it come? Okay. So then we'll say something like, we'll say like, okay, if map is this, then we'll say self.map. Yes, everyone, Dog Tato, hit the exclamation mark join if you're in here and you want to join me on this journey of putting this bot together. You can join me here on our mob programming exclamation mark. It's just not just that the membership not only supports our content, but you also are able to get access to our post bots where we do our show and tell, or doing our show and tell, and that's a little bit extra content. You can actually be a part of that, but at the same time, you can, if you miss it, you can see it. And then you can also join me by being a either navigator or pilot, and we'll rotate. So let's say map equals self.map equals I don't want to make it anything too long. So let's say PM. So let's say self.map equals plateau micro. Select PM. Let's just say PM. So is that, maybe I should just have 1. Maybe I should say map equals 1, but then I'll have to try to remember what PM means. No, I mean what 1 means. Okay, let's just try this for now. And then if I have to, you know, I'm just gonna keep it as like a string. Like I feel like I can't go too wrong with just a string. So then if it is not plateau micro, then it must be obviously BM. So then self.map map equals BM. We have PM, plateau micro, and BM as in bot micro arena. BMA, BMA. So it's either PM or BMA. And I think we are what map is this? This is BMA. So this is BMA we're operating from. All right, so yeah, so far so good. I'm liking it. I'm liking where we're sitting. Oh snap, there's the Nagata lock. Everybody in chat, ignore this guy. This guy is the worst. Absolutely the worst. Don't pay attention to him, chat. Ban this guy. Absolutely ban this guy right away. Okay, but meanwhile, let's just let's take a while. Nagata Lock 2, how are you? You mean how dare I? This guy comes into my house, calls me a nerd, and then asks how dare me. All right, whatever. Screw this guy. This guy's he's a poser. Bot, ban this guy immediately. Not welcomed. Absolutely not welcomed. Nagatalock, how are you? Justin, my friend. I hope I see you before I go on my trip. It would be a pleasure. Hope you're keeping well. Oh, this is not the right window. This is not the right window at all. Uh-oh. All right. Oh, no, go. Come back. I am leaving September 4th. Don't die. Hold on. Ah! Okay. Oh, we won. Very good. Okay. So I'm leaving September 4th, and I am gone for 2 months. Probots ends. This season's Probot ends August 31st, and 4 days after it ends, I'm hopping on a plane, and I'm going to Argentina for a break. For which I will also still be working on content. So don't worry, I'm not taking a full break, but I'm gonna actually be trying to be making content from another country. I think that is a little exciting for me. I have never made content from another country. And so it's a little bit of an experiment. You know, it's an experiment for me. It's like I'm working on I'm working on videos, I'm working on tutorials still. And so I will hopefully get a chance to make more videos, I will be making videos while I'm traveling and producing that. So it's a bit of an experiment on me. you know, it's kind of like trying to, can I be mobile while I'm making videos? Obviously I can code still, and I can code from anywhere in the world, obviously. So I'm going to be coding as well, working on some tutorials. In the background, I'm working on a tutorial for, you know, for people. I notice a lot of people are struggling getting their bots started. I think a lot of people, once they get started, it's not that bad because you start figuring it out, but I really want to build a tutorial video on how to, you know, just the basics of getting your bot started. And I find a lot of people struggle with it. I'm going to actually make that out for free, obviously. And I'm going to be putting it out hopefully before I leave, and then working on taking feedback on it and then iterating on that. But yeah, that's on the horizon. I wonder if I should show you. Actually, no, if I do that, we're going to be here all night. Let's actually make sure we make some progress tonight, because if I'm freaking showing you my other projects during assembly time, then we are not getting anything done. So let's, like, you know, let's kind of make sure I get this, keep us going on where we are at. Okay, so we have our map. So we know that our map is BM or PM. So BMA or PM. So we should actually have that, or defense position. So defense position, defense. So defense position is set by what map we're in. So this is defense position. Where is this located? So defense position set none. Where do we send it? When do we set it the next time? When do we give our defense position its first coordinate? Aha! So here we are. Okay. So we already have defense position set. We set it at the start. So yeah, when we know that the map is there, and then if it's right or if it's left. Should we set a different, so we're gonna actually have to, so the current target actually is set by defense position. So we might actually want to change, we might actually want to make two defense positions. Defense position ranged and defense position melee. So the melee has a different defense position than the range. And so we might want to do something like, how do we want to structure this, guys? How do we want to structure this? Because this can get a little unwieldy. Because right now we have one position for every unit. I'm a little flummoxed because I got really excited about the idea of doing the site blockers, and then I realized I just created an entire new path for myself. What do I want to do here then? How do you want to test finding out the... Okay, let's do this. Let's first find out where the site blockers are. Let's do that. We'll do a test with site blockers, and we'll use the scout to do that. So let's go scout. Where's the scout? Let's go into the scout's place, and he targets the map center. So how can we figure out what his position is? How can we figure out where, can we get him to print his movements? Maybe we can get him to print his movements. How can we do that? Because if we can get this scout to print where he is, let's ask our AI, you know, let's say if he has an idea. And so let's say in our control scout, I want to get my, actually make sure you guys can see what I'm typing. Yeah, okay. I want to get my unit's position in this method. Is there a way to print out coordinates as it moves? That's like a very vague question, but we'll see what it comes up with. Interesting. Oh, we could tag the unit and its position. That's kind of cute. Might be an interesting way of doing this. Yeah, let's try that. I don't know about this time sleep though. This sleep, I don't think I've ever seen time sleep work in in thing. I don't think I've ever seen it work, but let's put it in there, and then if it works, yeah. No while true in sleep. Yeah, I don't think that I've never seen that either. Yeah, that might not be a good thing, but maybe we can just have it 4 unit. We can just like take this part here and like just use that. I feel like this could still be useful. So 4 unit ins thing. Yeah, let's just do this for now. Yeah, obviously the 4 while true. I don't know if I've like, I don't think that, like Doggato says, I think that is just an infinite loop and may not be any good. But let's see what this gives us. We're gonna get like a bunch of print statements that's just gonna be like blah for a long time, but I think we can kind of parse through it. Maybe. Let's see if we can. What we'll end up doing is I will probably just do a trial and error at first. You know, just get like a little bit of coordinates and just do some trial and error. And it's a little janky. I won't gonna lie. It's a little janky, but I don't mind. It's probably a better way to do this. It's okay. So yeah, the scout's position is there. Scout. Okay, he did cross it. Perfect. So scout's dead. That's okay though. I just have some positions, so it's okay. Okay, so we got a couple of coordinates. We have some coordinates. This was on the right side. This one looks like it could be it. I like this one. 6428. 6428 looks like a good coordinate. Like it stayed there for a bit. I want to say this is when it was attacking. So it's probably around 6428 or like somewhere around here. So I'm feeling pretty. Oh, is that before the gate open? Then what? Oh, I think Dogato's right. So maybe, where did it say the longest? I want to say, yes, I think you're right, Dogato. This is where it was sitting. This is when it's waiting at the gate. It moves, it moves, it moves, it moves. And then it's like, let's say around maybe 54, maybe 51, 5130. I feel confident. Let's add to our, let's like our constants. Let's call our constants. Where's our constants? Constants, here we are. This is BMA. So BMA, right side, site blocker. And then we'll like BMA left side site blocker. At some point, maybe we'll make like a constants document, like a constants.py, and just have a set constants. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I'm a little sloppy when it comes to coding sometimes, and I have made a vow. The next bot, I would like to start putting a lot of my methods into their own fault files, so that it's a little bit cleaner. Because as you can see, I keep everything in a single file, and that's not optimal. Like, it really isn't. Yeah, Dog Tato, I'm just trying to find the site blocker right now. That's right now the only thing that we're doing, is getting the site blocker, because we're going to move our defensive position to the site blocker for the melee units once we know that is. And so we'll say the right side site blocker. What we're testing, we're going to test 5130 as the 5130. It's not perfect. Okay, so we'll test that. So we should maybe, what should we do? How should we test this? Let's make another one, and we'll call this oh, we do have two. Dudes, look at this. So we have actually defense stalker position. When did I do this? I actually have no memory of when we did this. So we did split it up. Oh my gosh. So we have a defense position for the stalkers and a defense position for the melee. When did I do that? So are we even using this defense block? So at some point, I actually decided that I was going to be doing defenses for stalkers differently than I was going to do for melee. Oh, they do. Oh my God, look at that. Okay. So they do have different defense positions. So I can just actually just change the defense positions of the regular defense position. And then, oh snap. Okay, we can make this work. That's good. We still have to figure out where like the defense position. We still have to figure that out, but oh, we can do this. This is okay. Okay, let's figure out the defense position. I can just change these. Yeah, I can just change these. That's kind of cool. This is not gonna be as hard as I thought. Because I can just change the coordinates and I actually have them separated. I just don't know why I'm not using. Like, I don't know maybe why I'm currently only using current target as defense position. And I don't have, because look, I'm just setting the stalker defense position, but I don't think this is actually in any use. Yeah, it's actually not in use in the code, but I set it. So I don't know. I guess this is actually a lot more feasible than I thought. Okay, so let's just say we'll call this, we'll go back to the scout and we'll go scout. So in the scout, control first scout. So let's say go control first scout. And then we'll say, let's target, let's just say, what do we want to do? We don't want to, let's just say, let's just actually get rid of, let's just comment this out for a second. And then we'll just say something like, target equals 0.2, and then 0.2. What was the coordinates I had again? 5130, 5130. Let's see where that lets us go. So we'll use our scout as like our little bit of our little test dummy and see if he'll get us to where we want to go. All right, guys, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I was a little worried. Oh, snap. Sorry, my bad. I was a little worried because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to like code all these things and oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God, what is going on? Okay, I was a little worried. So I was worried because I was going to have to code all this extra stuff and like put all these things set up, but it's already set up. I am super happy because then I don't have to go and set up the and you know, it could have been Mind Me who did that. This is my bot. Okay. Ooh, where's this scout going? So that's not the right coordinate. And it's, oh, little scout, you are, yeah, you got us killed. Well, I guess that only really works if it is on the right side. So we're gonna have to keep doing this until I spawn on the right side, I guess. Because that was the wrong spot. Actually, I could probably still learn from that though, now that I think about it, because it was X, so X and Y. So we need to maybe move the X a little bit negatively. Oh, I need to turn off the print statement because it's screwing me up. I should actually turn it off. Okay, that's fine. Let's please be on the left side. Yes, okay. Crap, I cannot see. I picked the wrong map or the wrong. Okay, he's here. Okay, so he's a little far away. So that's good news. So he was at the position he was supposed to be, which is 5130. He went to 5130, which is too far to the right, so we need to go to the left, so that's like 49. Let's turn off the print statement though, because this print statement is no longer useful. Control scout. So let's actually just turn off this print statement for now. Print statement turned off. And then let's say go back to, oh, this is actually where we need to be. Let's reduce him down. So 30 is right. So let's say 43. Let's see if we can get him to where he is when he lands at 43. Assuming, and this is a big assumption, that we are actually on the right side. So as long as we're responding on the right, then we should be able to see where we land at the site blocker. Hopefully, this should be closer to the site blocker. All right, we're on the right side. Good news, good news. Oh, that looked like that was really close to the site blocker. I think that was it. I think that was it. It's a little bit too much, but let's say, let's go to, let's say 42.30. I think 42.30 should be the site blocker. And then ultimately what we're gonna wanna do is get each unit to do like 40. Oh, snap, you're right, sorry, you're right, it's 44. Snap. Oh, snap. Oh, good thing it crashed. Hello, crash. It should be 44. You are correct. It is 44. And that actually kills our terminal, so I have to create a new terminal. New terminal. Okay, let's try this again. Should be 44. So let's, but maybe even 45. You don't need to show me this is good. Oh no. Uh-oh. I don't know. That's not good. Is there something with the chat and symbols? Let me check. I think the bot may not allow symbols, maybe? I don't think so though, because I've done exclamation marks. I need to probably clear this terminal. Let's try again. Okay, now this terminal is dead. Let's try again. I don't know why, but let's try again. Okay, so let's see if this loads. If it loads, then I will do a little bit of a spiel. Actually don't know. Okay, sorry, it's loading up. Okay, so while this loads up, I'm gonna do my little bit of spiel. All right, guys, if you want to join up, this is actually a mob programming. So if you want to join me as a, while is this loading? I lost my bookmark. Driver, navigator, mob. Right now, you guys are in the chat, so you're part of the mob. But if you want to be a driver and navigator, and we switch every 15 minutes, hit that exclamation mark, join. Oh, that's not the right. Oh, we're on the wrong side anyway, so it's fine. We're not spawning on the left, so that's kind of moot. I presume there is a. I presume he's sitting inside the thing still, which is fine. That we need to do. So while that loads up again, so when I type self dot, the move marker looked right. Yeah, it looked right to me, Matt. I think it looked right. So we'll just double check it again. Now the game's actually loading up. So when I tell self.gameinfo.vision blocker, it doesn't show up. Is that actually a thing? Game info vision blockers? Is that real? If that is, that would be really cool. And that would have defeated the purpose of what we just done, but. I actually don't know if we moved into the vision blocker or not. That's a little interesting. Interesting. Okay, well, why don't we try that right now? You know what it, Dog Tato, you know what it is that because you use the dot, it thinks it's like it thinks it's like a URL. So try maybe putting parentheses around the dot. and then that might work because it thinks it's like a URL, and it doesn't. The thing doesn't let you post URLs unless you're like a channel member or like a, you know, like a moderator. So you can't post URL. So the dot probably makes it think you're posting a URL, and it won't let that. So let's see if Dog Tato, yeah, block yourself. Let's try this. I like what Dog Tato is saying. Let's print that actually at the start. I've never heard of this, and this is actually really interesting to hear. So let's say, when do we want it? Where do we want to pop this out? Let's pop it here at the print. So like say, yeah, I've never seen the vision I've never seen vision blockers as part of it. It makes sense, but in Python SC2, I've never seen vision blockers. Now, I want to say I've never looked for it. I've 100% never gone looking for the vision blockers, but oh, is it really? Is it really a part of it? I've never seen that. Okay, let's that's really cool. Let's do that. So print F. I've never seen that. That's so cool. Let's say vision blockers equals, I'm gonna guess that's self.gameinfo. So it's gonna be like self dot, is that, oh my god, did it just actually think, did it know? Self.gameinfo vision blockers, is that real? Is that a fucking thing? Oh my god, you have to be kidding me. What the fuck have I been doing this entire time? What the fuck have I been doing this entire time? You just fucking print the vision blockers. All right, anyways. That's not, like, obviously Doug Tato has been trying to tell me for a while, and I had no clue that he was being blocked from it, but that would have saved a lot of time. Let's see what it prints though. Let's see what it prints. Like, there's multiple vision blockers, so I have no clue how is it gonna know which vision blockers? This may not be like this may not be the catch-all we need still, but it could provide a lot. All right, so let's see where we land. It's kind of interesting. So it did. There's all the vision blockers. How cute. It did print all the vision blockers. So it printed all the vision blockers, which is really useful. So yeah, it just essentially gives us the vision blockers. So these are there 3 tiles of vision blockers? Oh, this is for each one. So this is on the right side. This is on the right side. This is on the right side. And this is on the right side, which means these are on the left side. Okay, that's cool. So now we know the vision blockers. So we know the vision blockers, which is good. What do we want to do with that, guys? Okay, let's keep it simple. Since we already know, so right now I said 44, so obviously it's actually 43. 43, 27, 29, 26. So we actually, so yeah, we actually want it to be, you can select nearest vision nearest blockers to your units. Can you do that? Can you go like, instead of me making it like static, can we say something like, use a closest to and the coordinates, because, and feed it a bunch of 0.2 coordinates, because maybe we can use the Eris framework and say uses the Python, not enemy target to, but we can use like closest to, cy underscore closest to. So like something like, what is it, like cy underscore closest to, and then it's like self dot, what is this thing again? Is it like self dot game info vision blockers? Like, that's a little interesting. That could work. Let's test that. It's a little weird though. Might be. Because then we'd have to calculate it from the position of the unit. Let's try that. That could be worth testing. That could be worth testing. Okay, how do we want to do this? So vision blocker, vision blockers. So yeah, this, actually I'm gonna put this in my little makeshift pseudocode. There we go. Not sure if there's a built-in way to test a group of points. Might have to loop them over yourself. So yeah, so what we could do is you could say for each unit, like it can be in relation to each unit. Like I think that's fine. I think that makes sense. I think what we would want to maybe do is say something like, I am using Visual Studio Code. If that's Gabriel, you're asking which code editor I'm using. Visual Studio Code. Okay, so why don't we do this? Let's go to our attackers. So, and in our melee section, so else, so this might actually be a problem because right now we have all the units are going. So right now we have like if enemy, so if ground enemy, so if there's a ground enemy, break into this. So we should say actually if there's no enemy. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stop sharing target because we're no longer past the target in. Oh, that's actually not a good idea though. Because if we, stop. What are you doing? Stop this. What are you doing? Stop. So you have to kind of unwind this because right now we have that the target is controlled by what we're passing into the control attacker. And we change what we pass into the control attacker differently. We have a defense position for both the melee and for the stalkers. And so we need to separate that. But then our defense position kind of changes. We can still actually, we can still have the defense position gate. And then we can change both of them because we're like, okay, if there's someone attacks, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's do that then. Let's no longer pass in current target. Yeah, let's no longer pass in current target. Let's no longer pass in current target. We actually don't need current target in the scout either because they have their own current target. And then we're going to go to each of these methods. We're going to get rid of current target. We're no longer passing that in. So we no longer need target as something to pass in. And the same thing with scout. We're going to no longer pass in the scout. And then we'll control it with the self dot whatever that needs to be passed in. And so we actually are using a move group. And that is not maybe the ideal. So we have squad and we have melee. And so we actually should maybe break up the melee out. No, not even if there's a ground enemy. It should always be melee. Shouldn't no longer be squad position. So we can actually get rid of, what do we want to do? Actually, let's make sure I'm not ripping up my code and screwing myself up here for a second. Okay, so I'm going melee for you in units in ground range. Where's this units coming from? You in units. And that's units is the, so it's okay. So it actually goes to the squad, passes through it. Okay. So this is not necessarily a bad thing. So what we can actually do is take this out and move this above the conditioning. So we don't need it to be conditioned that way. So we can actually move this into the main loop. and we'll say, you know what, this is what squad is. This is what, so this is what, we'll actually put a little bit of note here. We're like breaking units into ranged and melee. Okay. So we'll say we're breaking them to range and melee. And then we have a, you know, if there's an enemy, So if there's no enemy, we'll actually not do this. So we'll say, actually, let's just comment this out just in case I break something and I need to come back. And then we'll say, like, again, else if ranged, then for each unit in ranged, actually, I don't think we have to do each unit in range. We could probably do a whole group thing. So we can actually go, if ranged. We actually can probably keep this group maneuver. And we'll just say something like, you know what, if ranged. And then we'll go like, we actually don't have to loop each unit in the range. We're just moving them over. And this will be actually self.defense position stalker position. Perfect. All right. So if ranged, we actually need to register this behavior. Actually, that's fine. That's actually what we want. Oh snap, I have a meeting today. Uh-oh, guys. I have a meeting and I didn't remember. Uh-oh. All right, my meeting is in 3 minutes. Uh-oh. Well then. Well, let's get this working and then I will have to call the stream. I didn't realize that I was running out of time. Well, rip. Okay, and then we'll say something like, if melee, we'll do the same thing. And we'll be like, oh, that's actually not stalker position. And we'll go like self dot defense position. Do I need to give them different group behavior names? Can I be like, where did we declare the group maneuvers? Did we declare one? Did I not declare? Or do I not? Because I did self-register group behavior. Am I okay to just name? Are they okay to be named the same thing? This is a good question to ask myself. If I name them the same thing, will that interfere? Oh, it's declared here. I wonder if this is okay. Okay, I don't really have a lot of time to like kind of, actually I'm gonna take these coordinates and actually put this in our vision blockers. We're gonna actually put this in our, what I would call our document. Where is our, so we're actually gonna call these vision blockers. All of them. I'm gonna break them into lefts and rights later, but for now we'll just call them all the vision blockers. We can actually get rid of this for now. All right, so that's vision blockers, all the vision blockers, and then we're like, okay, let's test this, and then I'm gonna be a little bit late for my meeting because it's in 1 minute, and I do want, yeah, Dyson, you got it. And you guys know that if I get into like my testing mode, I can be here all night and then I have to explain to people why I didn't go to this meeting. So but while this loads up, exclamation mark join, guys, exclamation mark join, become a member, join me in the membership, Probots membership. Every Monday you can help me code this bot together as part of the assembly mob programming. We will switch every 15 minutes, but it's not just this. We have post bots. You also are supporting Probots content. Like if you've seen what we've done with Probots, it is a lot of, all of it comes from our memberships. There is no sponsor. All of it comes out of my pocket, 100% out of my oh, okay. What's happening? No, bot, what are you doing? So it still works, which is good. Yay! Oh no. No, no, no. No. Well, that is because I did not set up the conditions, right? That's exactly what happened. So that is this. That's what's happening here. So we have, so what we actually have to do is say, if in self-defense mode, current target. So we actually have to say self dot defense position becomes that. And then we're like self dot stalker defense position also becomes that. And then we're like, okay, if that is done, we'll go like self dot defense position becomes that. And then self dot stalker defense position becomes that. Okay, so far so good. We can get rid of these ones. And then else, we actually don't need an else. I don't think we need an else. Actually, maybe we do need an else. Because hold on, okay, so we assign this as none first, and then we assign these positions. These are on start though, right? This is on start, so we actually don't have to worry about it being coming back. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe we, oh, this might be a problem. Can we just say, because I kind of wanted to restore back to the original one. I don't even have time to really think this through. So let's put a to-dos list, because I need to think through that logic and there's not enough time for me to think through it. So let's go back to the, there's not enough time for me to think through this logic. So let's say self, what was I doing again? Self dot defense position. Okay, so I need to put like a to do create condition to return to defense position set on delayed start. So we need to come back to this, and this is not it. Okay. I need to think through that for a sec. So let's actually just double check to make sure our bot still is operating as it is. I never like to leave this bot not working before I refuse to do that. So we're gonna save. We're gonna commit, and then we're gonna call it a day. Let's see what happens. Oh, we lost. That's like a big L. Oh. No, what's happening here? Oh, did we win? We did. Okay, well, that was weird. That needs to be reviewed. That was a weird behavior. I'm pretty sure it was just that we, I don't know, it didn't set back to false, I guess. I'll have to, I don't know, that was a weird behavior. But for now, our bot's working, and yeah. What other to-dos do we need to do? So we have to put new logic in here. We have to fix the logic in here. And then let's open up our little to-do list so we can end this off. Say to-do. So we need to add, we do have to add map conditions, but we also have to say like site blockers for melee. Site blockers for melee on self.defense position. So self-defense position needs to be the site blockers. And actually should be the site blockers position should be the site blockers equals site blockers. Ideally, assign site blocker position to each unit in melee. This would be the ideal, and it can be done. You just do a loop and then you just assign them position, but how that it works in the logic, so it's actually choosing, so we're not manually having to choose which site blocker we're doing, as opposed to saying, like, here is a dictionary of site blockers, assign a site blocker to each unit, and once a site blocker is assigned, remove it from the dictionary or keep it out of the dictionary until all units are assigned to a site blocker's position, which is what we would want to do, right? I think that's something we'd want to do. I think that makes a lot of sense. But that could require some like heavy logic where we'd have to say, here's a site blocker. Here are check self.site blocker info. Remove half of them. Remove the half that are not close to us. Save that in a dictionary. Then in that dictionary, assign them to each unit. For each unit in melee, assign it a position for defense. And then stop doing that once they're all assigned. Actually, that's not bad. Let me actually write that down. Hold on. And then we'll say something like a dictionary. Get all site blocker info. Take half of site blocker info closest to start location. Then we'll say something like save info in a dictionary, and then we'll say loop over units in melee, assign coordinates of site blocker, assign coordinates, so like for Z in units, Z in melee, assign coordinates of site blocker. Yeah. Until all coordinates blocker, and remove coordinate from dict. So looped until all coordinates are assigned. Not bad. Yeah. I like that. That can be done. That's not impossible. Yeah. All right. So let's kill this music for a second. I need to put that on my thing. Okay, so hopefully you guys had a good let's go back to our so hopefully for you that was a insightful, useful, good stream. I hope you had a good time, and I actually had a great time. Oh my god, we need to commit this. We actually need to push these commits up. 1 second. Yeah, let's commit this together before we leave. What did we do here? What did we do now? We added, where's that site blocker stuff? Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to get rid of the, I need to put a to-do at the site blocker. There's always something else. Always something else. Scout. So we need to actually fix this when we come back. Control scout, control attackers, control scout. And so we need to actually to do restore this back to I don't know, original target. Oh, actually, no, I can just do this. Let's do this just right now. We can actually do that right now. We actually don't have to wait because this is actually not related because we're not passing target in. Because we set the target inside the scout. So we have to worry about making sure the target works. is it set inside Scout? So that's fine. So we added, what did we do? We separated melee and range defense positions. That's what we did. That was this. And then we commit that. And then we push it. Pushed. All right. Perfect. Beautiful. All right. Let's switch back. Whew, okay. Well, that was quite the session. I would say I would call this a successful session. Like, hopefully you would too. I think that was fairly successful. You know, sorry, I was just checking my notifications. All right, so hopefully that was a very successful session for you. Oh, I saw that Chad has joined the bot membership. Shout out to you, Chad. I don't know who that is. Hopefully it was someone who was watching the stream. I need to figure out how to get that to notify. It was in our Discord, so I saw that Chad joined the guild. Thank you for joining it. That's a great segue to you guys out there who are watching. Shout outs to you, Chad. Super shout outs. Joining our membership, what you can do is you can join me each Monday. We're going to be here on Monday coding this bot until the next project. But Assembly is essentially an easy way for you to get into the bot making stuff without having to start your own. You can and you will start your own, and we'll be supporting you through that throughout the whole thing. No word of a lie. Don't worry about that. But if you want to get your feet started, you want to play around, or you know what, you just want to do something social. I like the idea is to make coding social with this. You want to do that, become a member. We also have post bots at the end of the month where it's going to be our once a month, which is our monthly demo day, where you can set up and show what you've been working on. If you don't have something you've been working on, that's okay. You can show up and watch what everyone's been working on. I'm actually working on taking highlights of that to put up on the YouTube channel. So even if you're not in it, you'll be able to see. But if you want to participate, if you want to be there at the event, you want to hang out with myself, Kent Rock, and the other bot makers, become a member for that as well. So there's that. There is obviously, if you love what you've been watching on ProBots, you like to watch the content that we've been putting, and you love to see those improvements we're making, it comes from those memberships. There is no sponsor. There isn't any outside. Like if you know about YouTube revenue, it's like pittance. So really the the memberships are the only way we fund that stuff. If you like the show we're putting on ProBots, if you like it, that is a great way to support it. And I get it too, that membership may be out of reach. If it's out of reach for you, there's other ways to support it. You can do you can join the YouTube membership thing. You can do the channel membership. Channel membership is significantly less cheap, like significantly cheaper than what we have here in our ProBots membership. Or you can just do a super thanks, whatever. And you know what? If you don't want to do any of that stuff, you can and share this stream with a friend. Those are really easy, and it costs you nothing if you want to do that. Just share it with somebody. Hey, say check out ProBots. This is the thing I've been following. Spread what we've been doing, right? I think what we've been doing pretty cool, and I think you like it. I hope you like it too. I'm hoping you're watching because you like it. If that's the case, share one of our videos, share the stream, or at the very minimum, hit that like button, and hopefully other people will see it. I am 13 minutes late for my meeting, but I had a lot of fun with you guys, so I hope you had a lot of fun, and I will see you next Monday, and we'll continue our coding adventure. But until then, happy coding. Bye. Cut to waiting screen now.